Hey, Supa. So, I'm just gonna like read you out loud and kind of, answer your questions as we go here. So, this is the first you've heard of Gadget. You're not very tech savvy, so a lot of what I post goes right over your head. And that's fine. Hang out here. I try to have, honestly, I try to have like a normalized, hype-free, understandable, presented in plain English conversation about AI so that people who aren't technical actually can maybe realize that some of the FUD, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt that you see happening about AI, it isn't really true. And then we can take a look at where that comes from, why, and decide what we want to do about that. I try to encourage people to have a look at it, see if it can benefit you in your day, and if so, give it a try. There are right and wrong ways to do that, so I also continue the conversation. Like, my conversation doesn't end at give it a try. That's kind of foolish. So is Gadget your pet project? What does it do? Gadget is not a pet project. Within all, like the entirety of AI, what you're really seeing right now is research and development and an awful lot of premature rush to market nonsense. Okay? What I am doing is more in the research and development area. And I have only, now mind you, this is after about 2 solid years. I have only now gotten to a point where I feel confident enough in the model behavior, the configuration of the system, the implementation, etc., to actually start offering it now as 2 things. I have Gadget Code, which is an open source, freely available agentic engineering platform. That's for people like myself to use AI to build software or to work on projects. It doesn't have to be software. Separate from that, I have Gadget Agent. Gadget Agent it runs in your browser. Let me get out of full screen here. We'll get some pixels back. There we go. And Gadget Agent runs in your browser. Okay. And I can continue any of the chats that I've had with it, or I can start a new chat, right? And what I can do is literally, well, here, I'll just show you. Actually, let me take the can you. I do it myself. Here, you know what? Let me make this a little more readable. Please answer Supanova's question about Gadget. Use either a screenshot or read the page content. It's a comment under my post link, and I'm just literally going to give it a link straight to your comment. All right, so what I'm doing here is asking Gadget to answer you for itself. Let's see how that goes. I don't want to mess with anything while it's working. It's bad to do that. Like if you change the shape of the page. All right, there we go. But I did want to embiggen this so that we could read it a little easier. I can see Supanova's question and your replies. It looks like they're having 2 main questions, one about App Store approval and then a follow-up asking what Gadget actually is, since they're not very tech savvy. Here's how I'd answer them, so speaking as Gadget now, which is something we do. Actually, if I had told it that we're recording a video, it would go into a whole different presentational mode, and I didn't want to do that for this interaction here. Hey Supanova, great questions. Let me break this down plainly. 1, about App Store approval. Actually, Gadget isn't in the Play Store or Apple App Store, at least not yet. Right now, it's a Chrome browser extension, which means it lives inside your web browser on a computer rather than being a standalone phone app. The mobile app you might have seen is Gab AI, which is a separate project that actually did make it through both stores. The secret to getting approved generally involves following all of Apple and Google's content policies, having a privacy policy, and making sure the app doesn't violate their guidelines. But that's Gab AI's journey, not Gadget's current one. What is Gadget? yes, it's Rob's pet project. Think of Gadget as a personal AI assistant that lives in your browser while you work online. While you're reading web pages, doing research, writing emails, or managing tasks, Gadget is right there with you, reading pages, summarizing content, searching the web, filling out forms, and navigating around for you. It's like having a smart buddy sitting next to you at your computer who can actually click, type, and browse on your behalf. And Apache? That's just the name of an open source license, Apache 2.0. It means the underlying code is freely published to the world and anyone can use or improve it. Think of it like publishing a recipe so other chefs can cook it too. You don't need to understand binary code or gigahertz to use it. If you use Chrome as your browser, you can literally install Gadget like a browser plugin and it'll just start helping you. No ads, no tracking, just assistance. Want me to try posting this as a reply to your Gab post, or would you prefer to copy paste it yourself? Yeah. So I could literally just right now tell Gadget to go ahead and reply to you, and it would actually work. It knows it's logged in as me. It understands then that it would be communicating on my behalf, and it would let you know that. And I haven't gained the trust yet to actually automate any of that. But when I'm sitting in the chair and it knows that, and we're having a back and forth, it'll ask me like, hey, would you like me to do that? And if I say yes, the next thing it'll do is show me, here's exactly what I want to reply. Do you have any feedback on that before I post it? And if I say, yeah, change this, the tone, whatever, you forgot to mention whatever, and then it'll, okay, I've integrated your feedback. Here is what I would post. Any further comments? Once I say, no, go ahead, it will go ahead and actually reply to you. It will fill out the reply. It'll be all cutesy. It might even use an emoji. I don't really know. It depends on what model I'm using at that time. I'm doing, research into different models right now. The performance of this one, by the way, has been stellar. You saw the speed, you saw the accuracy, you saw exactly what it did. And that's Gadget answering you, like as Gadget, and also a demonstration of what the software does. It took me, I'm just saying, it took me 2 years to get to a point where I'm able to put that kind of a behavior in a sidebar in your browser, because I can also, I can tell it to summarize this interaction as a document. And when I do that in the app, because these are both connected, okay, so when I'm running the app on my desktop, the extension, my little sidecar buddy, is able to put documents here, is able to put bookmarks here, is able to create tasks, or say we completed a task. It's able to run or edit or create or refine any of the skills. Skills are basically literally recipes that you write in plain English for your robot, and then you could just say, hey, run the whatever skill, and it'll go through and do what the skill. It's same as you learn new skills and then you practice and you get better at them. Same exact thing is happening here. As you learn to refine a skill, or you want to say, oh yeah, I probably shouldn't do that. Hey, can you add a note to the skill to not do what you just did? Because damn. You want to be more specific. I'm being playful. But generally, this whole thing that you're seeing here, and then we go way deeper into Gadget code, is for people who actually are working in the web browser all day. Okay, it's much less about like hobby, casual use, etc. It certainly can help you navigate social media. I find it to be an amazing tool to help me discern between fact, fiction, propaganda, etc., sabotage, subversiveness, all the rest of that. And Gadget is tuned specially for assisting with those kinds of things. So it's really good at it. But generally speaking, it doesn't make sense to try to install this on the phone. In fact, I kind of have to look at mine. It's just been trying to get my attention. I'm trying to make a video. These two things are in fucking conflict right now, and I wish it was easier for people to understand that. Okay. Does not require an immediate response, so, but I do have to get to that. So, Supa, listen, join the conversation here. I call it the scroll. You're looking at the title right there. Literally refers to the fact that timelines scroll. That's it. That's what it means. You're in the right place. I'm not anywhere else. You don't have to follow me here, there, wherever. Gadget is, yes, my pet project or research and development project into something that I'm building as my own business, and am offering it now for people who would like to use this and have this kind of functionality basically built into your browser. The idea comes from programming. I'm a computer programmer. So in our software that we use for working, right, it's pretty common in modern times to have a sidebar chat that can interact with the editor and help me do things. So I just sort of asked, like, okay, I know how to make an extension talk to a web page, and I know how to, have these two things deeply interact, like as deep as you can imagine. What would it be like, really, if we had an agent that was able to control the entire browser, but then was also effectively, if you want to think of it, your agentic operating system? In other words, like, what does an operating system do on your computer, right? Like, I mean, if we call up the Bobs, I have Bobs. Give me just a second. I don't have them on this screen. Let me go to this screen. Where the hell did I put my Bobs? Where's the Bobs? There we go. Right? If we brought out the Bobs to ask, what would you say you even do here, right? Anyway, Gadget gives you access to your documents, your bookmarks. You're going to have much more, much more. Documents are not, by the way, like desktop publishing. They're information for your robot. This is your library. And the robot reads the one on the left. That's the one that you edit, right? So like if I make changes over here, you can see that it's updating your version on the right. And so this helps people understand that when you type like this, your robot sees it like this, and your robot will pay attention to bold, italic, headings, numbered lists, bulleted lists, etc. It expects this kind of thing. It expects information to be organized like this, mainly because this has evolved kind of out of programmer culture, right? That's where sort of Markdown comes from. It's a very easy to read. Even if I don't have that HTML, I can read that and see it much like the robot does. So this is why we write documents this way. Documents is going to get renamed later. I really don't want to get into that, but that has a different name, knowledge. Okay, now there's a reason we will rename it that later, but for right now, I'm just simply calling it documents. People understand documents. And later, the conversation will involve the change from documents to knowledge, and then we keep the documents, because those will be the versions that you're going to publish. So for right now, if you want to publish a knowledge document separate from a user document to come later, you would be able to export this as a PDF. That is a button right there. All you do is save, export PDF. Oh. Yeah, look at that. I have to run a setup step. Did I mention it's brand new? I literally just deployed this maybe about a week ago. Let me go ahead and fix that. I have to move this off the screen for just a moment. It's about to maybe divulge an IP address. Sure did. All right. So we're on the agent. I'm going to become the DTP user. You're literally watching me do sort of surgery on the server. And we are just going to run that command right there. npx puppeteer browsers install Chrome. I have to, in order for it to generate a PDF, one of the highest quality ways to do that is to use a web browser. It has print as PDF, and that's exactly what this is going to use. But it can't do that if I haven't given it what it needs in order to do that. That's crazy. So browsers, Puppeteer, we're just going to go with Puppeteer install Chrome. Did that work? I don't even know. One never knows. We'll find out. Go back here and export the PDF. All right, I'm going to have to resolve that separately. God damn it. In fact, do I have OpenCode on the system? I do. Let me get that entire error. Personal policy. I don't touch the code. That's part of the research. It's actually part of the receipt. Can AI do what the hype monsters say that it can do? In a lot of cases, yeah. You got to be careful, but yeah, this is one of those cases. We're literally just going to let AI solve this problem. Now for this, I'm going to be running OpenCode against OpenCode Zen using the big pickle model simply because it's the one that I trust the most. It happens to be free. I can't pay them to do this. Go. Literally only giving it the error message. It was asking for permission to do something in a directory outside of this directory, so I have to grant it permission to do that. It was fine. It's just trying to update some files that need to be updated. I'm staying very high level in the description if anyone would like details about what's happening here. But this is also why, beyond that first attempt, nope, I'm not going to do that by hand. I can do it by hand. You're watching what is involved in doing this nasty shit by hand. This is the kind of nasty shit that a programmer or a sysadmin, someone, was going to have to go and do in order to get the Chrome browser to run with Puppeteer, you know, the library that the developer uses, on this specific host, running this specific operating system in this specific directory as this specific user with this specific configuration and list of needs. We don't do this by hand anymore. What we do is we let the robot go off and see that, well, see, the reason that's not working is because you didn't have all these developer libraries and all the rest in order for it to build from source and compile the module that needs to plug into your web server and all the rest of that. This is stuff that we used to do by hand that would take all day. Well, half a day in this case. Maybe a couple of hours. Or an hour. I mean, really, it depends on how badly it goes. So, you know, this will have it done at, you know, machine speed. Yes, I am literally letting AI work on the root image of a production server. When this is done, the host will be imaged and cloned to service the horizontal scalability. Want me to check where Puppeteer is launched in the codebase? So what it's telling me is that there's an additional requirement now saying that this has to be launched with no sandbox and disable setuid sandbox. So we're going to find out. Yes, please examine, but do not change the code. This is a production server. We have a process for managing change. I just need the diagnostic and the confirmation. If the app is not in spec, I will take that to development. So again, you have to know what the hell you're doing. You have to know what you're saying. You can't just say, fix it, bro. This is not when to do that. This is that you say, just fix it, bro. And then this is when, you know, now it doesn't work on my machine, but it does work on your machine. Or everything crashes, burns, it deletes the database, and you have to defend yourself in court as to why you didn't mean to do that because you're being sued. So anyway, in that, go. And so what it's doing now is determining if there is a shortcoming in the code. And if there is, then I will actually go address that. If there isn't, then good. Okay, so the code is in spec, already configures the correct flags, shows me the literal code. Okay, that's from our source code. There it is on the screen. The original error, could not find Chrome, was purely environmental. Chrome for testing was missing from the Puppeteer cache. 3 issues. 1, you were missing a binary. The zip downloaded but extracted incompletely. No Chrome executable. Fixed by cleaning and re-extracting with Python. 2, missing execute permissions. Chrome _ crashpad _ handler and others lacked +X. That's a file system permission that means you can execute that thing. Fixed with chmod +X. It gave the file the permission that it needed in order to work today. 3, missing system libraries. libatk, libxfixes, etc. fixed via apt-get install. So from a programmer perspective, there were some tools that we used that simply weren't on this machine at all. They've been installed. The browser now has everything that it needs in order to run, and I know that my software is in spec, doesn't require any change. This was a deployment problem. I did, because of my philosophy, have the robot perform the deployment, same as I'm having the robot fix the deployment, same as I let the robot write the code. I'm just incredibly careful about how I ask it to do that, and again, it involves more than simply saying, please fix the system, bro. That's how you'll get hurt. These are very powerful machines. They swing their arms around at a very high rate of speed, and compared to that arm, you don't weigh much. It will smack you into a parallel universe. Yeah. I try to help people avoid having that happen to them, their company, and ultimately their success factors and bottom line. Cheers. Enjoy the scroll.